Good evening, folks. So it's late, and this is going to be posted late, but I've done a lot of digging um, to bring you this information. Now, I'm not going to spend hours on this because this could become a very long video, but I am going to give you the um, articles where I got this information because this is an important conversation because I keep hearing how heinous the WNBA is, okay? The WNBA is so heinous that they did this, that they did that. And I think people um, are assuming that that's Kathy Engelbert. But you need to understand who owns the WNBA to understand what's going on with the CBA, okay? Essentially, um, this battle that's going on right now is a choice made by um, the NBA. All right. So let's talk about uh, the history of the WNBA. Who actually owns the WNBA? Um, and so you folks have an understanding of why the women are digging their heels in here. Okay. We're going to have some real facts because it's this information is not anything that people normally go looking for. And I'm going to say this flat out, okay? The guy that runs Black and White Sports and some of the other content creators, like Patrick Bet David, okay, and um, some of the other YouTubers who claim to be um, fans of the WNBA really are not, okay? Especially the Black and White Sports guy. I long ago blocked him. Um, I don't even want his site recommended to me. First of all, he's a racist, okay? And I've got a real problem with that. He's a misogynist, and I've got a real problem with that because this is a league that is run, the players are female, okay? And everyone also needs to understand why the concept of talking about women, all right, as part of the CBA discussion has to happen is because without these women playing, okay, um, you would have nothing. And the reason all of these people have invested in the WNBA isn't because they care about women's sports. It's because they know it's eventually going to be a big fat fucking winner. And they're going to make a lot of money on this. And they want to make sure that they make more than the women do. That is really where we are here. Whether you want to accept this or not, it's a fact of life. Take it from a woman, okay, who has been looking at this crap all her life. All right, so let's talk about the WNBA a little bit here. So David Stern started the WNBA back in 1996. At the time, there was the American Basketball League. And that league had some of the biggest stars in women's basketball at that time. Okay. By 1998, the WNBA had driven the ABL out of business. Okay. And David Stern had created a monopoly in North American professional basketball with the NBA owning every single team in both the NBA and the WNBA. That's a monopoly, okay? In 2002, the NBA, um, after 2002, the NBA brought in some independent owners, okay? Um, if the WNBA function like the NBA, then the owners would own the league, but that's not the way it works. As it stands right now, the owners of the WNBA teams only own 42% of the league. The NBA itself owns another 42%. And investors in a $75 million capital infusion into the league in 2022 own the last 16%. But it should be noted that some of the NBA team owners participated in that capital infusion. So technically speaking, the NBA still owns about 60% of this league. All right? Because 6 of the 14 WNBA franchises are also owned by people who own NBA teams. The NBA technically owns more than 60% of the WNBA. And as Suzanne Hebert, the CEO of the Atlanta Dream, says, if the WNBA owners want to do something and the NBA says no, then the answer is no. So let's take a look at some reality here. Because I hear, the WNBA lost $280 million, and well, let me just say this. The NBA, before it turned the corner to profitability, lost $1.45 billion. But no one ever talks about that because it's the men's league. But we make a big thing about losing $280 billion. $280 million, I'm sorry, million, when the men lost $1.45 billion. Don't gaslight me on this, because I have been looking at this for over a week now. And don't gaslight me on the women-men thing either, okay? Because I'm not going to be gaslit on it. So let's be honest here. The league revenue in the 1950s in the NBA was about 10% of what the WNBA revenue is right now. Okay, yet in the 1950s, the NBA was revenue sharing with their players at 40%. Today in the WNBA, it's about 9.5%, maybe 10%. All right, they are choosing not to pay women fairly, essentially, okay? The league revenues of the NBA in the early 70s, okay? And the current revenue of the WNBA look about the same right now, okay? The NBA was paying about 50% in revenue sharing to its players. Yet the WNBA is paying only about 10%. So they are choosing to create this stalemate on the CBA by unfairly paying women. It's as simple as that. Okay, this is the Women's National Basketball Association. And you know, I remember when Caitlin Clark acknowledged, when she first came into the league, all the black women who came before her and made this possible for her. All the women who played to almost empty arenas. Nothing was televised. I mean, every once in a while you might be able to see something on the Wide World of Sports. Okay? We're talking about the Maya Moores, all the women who came before her that, you know, got paid nearly next to nothing. I mean, the fact that Caitlin Clark is getting $74,000 a year is fucking absurd. I'm just going to say it flat out. After all the money she has brought into the league. But I'm also not a proponent that Caitlin Clark should be making all the money and the rest of the women should be getting screwed, because that's not fair. And that's not the way Caitlin Clark looks at it either. All right. But when she made that statement that she acknowledged her white privilege, all of the people like the guy that runs Black and White Sports and Patrick Bet-David criticized Caitlin Clark because she appeared weak. And the guy from Black and White Sports criticized her for being woke. So we've got a game going on here. All right? We've got a game going on here. This is a women's league. And some of the issues surrounding the CBA are relative to women, like daycare facilities for their children. Okay? This is a job for them. And none of these women are making killer salaries. The salary maximum in the WNBA is about $280,000 a year. Caitlin Clark came out as the #1 pick in all of women's college basketball. She broke every record. She revolutionized women's college basketball. She came out and got $74,000 a year. The male player that came out as the #1 pick got $12.5 million per year. This is the reality. When I tell you that women's basketball and women's sports in general have been given the short shrift since the beginning of time, I'm not lying to you. Someone coming out of the men's side of college hoops, no proof that they can play in the NBA, getting $12.5 million, yet Caitlin Clark getting $74,000. Over 3 years, she'll be getting about $300,000. A little bit over $300,000 in a rookie contract. That's a steal for the WNBA. It's a steal for the NBA. Because she is driving revenue like a madwoman. She is actually driving revenue for all of women's sports. So let's talk about the owners, just so you have a lay of the land here. Okay? Joe and Clara Wu Tsai, they own the Brooklyn Nets of the NBA and the New York Liberty. Just so everyone understands. Ted Leonsis owns the Washington Wizards of the WNBA and also the Washington Mystics. Herb Simon, owner of the Indiana Pacers, also owns the Indiana Fever. The Cleveland Cavaliers ownership were awarded an expansion WNBA franchise. The Detroit Pistons ownership also were given a franchise. The Philadelphia 76 ownership was also given a franchise. Mark Walter, who controls the Los Angeles Dodgers, is also an owner of part owner of the Los Angeles Sparks. Mark Davis, owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, also owns the Las Vegas Aces. Steve Pagliuca, a minority owner of the Boston Celtics of the WNBA, is trying to buy the Connecticut Sun. Understand that. And yet I hear people making commentary about, oh, Sue Bird, she's a part owner. She's got a conflict of interest. No, she doesn't, actually. Sue Bird is a minority owner of the Seattle Storm as of April of 2024. Okay? Renee Montgomery became the first former WNBA player to own a team when she joined the ownership group for the Atlanta Dream in 2021. These are part owners, okay? Part owners. The Force 10 Hoops LLC Group, Don Trudeau, Lisa Brummel, and Ginny Gilder, own part of the Seattle Storm. Michelle Williams and Margaret Stender, the Chicago Sky. Serena Williams is a part owner of the New Toronto Tempo. But that's it. That's the extent of the women in a women's basketball league. And as I have said, all of these men aren't here to boost women's sports. They are here to make money. And they know the WNBA is going to turn the corner and be huge. There's already signs of that. So everyone needs to understand why the women are digging in their heels. And I still don't believe that either side sees a benefit to a lockout. But they're invoking Caitlin Clark's name because they finally have some leverage in this. They finally have some leverage in this. You know, they had a great TV deal. I believe it was worth $76 billion. This deal that they made to televise WNBA games. You know how much they gave the WNBA of that money? $2 billion. Somewhere between 8 and 10 would have been more appropriate. This is what people have got to understand. All right? A lot of things need to change. And by the way, the players themselves have stated that they're not looking for the same salaries as NBA players. They're more concerned with revenue sharing than they are with $1 million, $1 billion contracts to play basketball. They're more concerned with revenue sharing. And rightfully so. And the women have a right to be pissed off, in my opinion. So I'm going to put all of this stuff in this video for you to read. And if you really want to understand what's going on here, you need to understand this, okay? Kathy Engelbert is a problem, but she's not the only problem here. Because even if the coaches and the players go to her about a problem with the officiating, and she goes to the NBA with the issue, and the NBA says no, she's going to take the heat for it. This is how you have to understand the pecking order here. Do I think she survives? I have no idea. I honestly think that she made a big mistake getting confrontational with the players in the WNBA. And she is going to have to try to remedy that if she wants to stay. Okay? And anything can be fixed. Okay? There's no question about it. You can repair all kinds of relationships. People have done it over history. But she's got to do it. So this is what I want everyone to understand here, what the actual battleground is. The NBA has chosen to create this problem with the CBA. This is not the players. The players are looking for fairness. They're not looking to be greedy or to break the bank in any respect. But when you have a league that wasn't doing anything in 1971. Remember, the NBA didn't really hit it big until the Bird and Magic decade, okay? In 1971, you have a league that was paying its players 50% in revenue sharing, and you're looking at the WNBA now and where it is, and you're getting only 10%. It's the same thing with women in regular jobs. There is no equity. So this is what the battle is all about. And I'm going to put these articles in here for you to read. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll get back to highlight reels. But I really wanted people to understand because I see a lot of comments and I think people don't really understand why we are where we are right now. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night.